Girl, we got some tea?
With the honey and the sugar.
Nah, we gonna need some wine for this one.
Well, wine me, please.
Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of the Wine Me Please podcast. As y'all can see, we missing one person, but it's okay because we got a filler. My good sis right here, Kayla. We gonna get in her business in a minute. But y'all know it's the favorite Shaniqua.
And Candace.
And we already told y'all her name, and so if you wasn't listening, that's on you. Anyway, her name is Kayla. So, Kayla, tell us what wine you brought with you today.
Okay. I have bought my husband and I wine for my business, Body Iron Cellars, and this is called Clean Heart, and this is our Merlot.
Now, if y'all watched the other episode a few episodes ago, y'all would have saw her and her man, her husband, okay, on here talking about Body Iron. So go back and watch it if you didn't watch it. Just saying.
Yep. Like, share, subscribe.
Exactly.
What she said.
What's the percentage of alcohol in this?
So this one here is 13.9% or 14%.
14%.
Y'all know
Our
we
Chardonnay
like
is 13.9%.
Y'all know we like to know our percentages, okay? Okay. And while Candace is pouring us up, okay, we paired this with some brie cheese,
Yes.
green apple, and some roasted cashews.
Yes.
Honey roasted.
Honey roasted, okay, correct me.
No, because you know we like a little sweet.
Yeah, I do. Mm-hmm. True. So
I poured us a little light just in case.
Yeah.
Right.
So in honor of our good sis Dominique and our t-shirts, okay, we gonna swirl it, sniff it, but before we sip it, let's cheers.
Again, drink the story, drink the legacy.
Yes.
Y'all heard her. I like this.
Yeah, I like this too.
Cheat code. I already had this at they wine watch.
And I'm not even a red
And I
wine
got a
person.
bottle in the other room just so y'all know.
I'm not even
Let's
a
see
red
if you
wine
can taste
person,
in
and I like
one
this.
with you.
I do taste the oak. I feel like I
Okay.
taste like the
Yes.
barrel. I do taste that.
What's the fruit you think?
I don't know, like raspberry, blackberry is coming up for me.
So you got like your cherries. Yep, you got
I
your
was about to say
blackberries in there,
cherries.
You got dark chocolate. And I love chocolate, so we wanted dark chocolate.
I can taste that in the aftertaste.
Right. Mm-hmm. Nice and smooth. It's not too bad.
It ain't too bad, okay.
Yeah, no, I can drink this. See, red wine is my
Don't
sleepy
get me
time
in trouble.
before
I ain't
bed.
supposed to be
Well,
drinking.
this is the question. Let's see. You ain't. But let's see if it does do that, because we've had many people who say like they can't do red wine because it makes them
Makes you go to
sleepy.
sleep.
Many people that have had our red wine said that's not the case with this one. So I want to know.
Not us both like.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
I want to know if it makes you sleepy. Because the biggest thing for us was, like I said, the percentage is high, but we're not. Most times when it's a high percentage, you may not have as many glasses because it's not necessarily necessary. You have enough that you need for if it's eating your meal, or if it's having conversations like we doing. So you don't have an over pour of a lot of it. I find that people who do get sleepy and tired, they're either doing a lot of pour of the red wine, or the quality isn't there, so it's very cheap red wine, and so it does make you sleepy, tired, and then sometimes a little drunk real fast.
I don't even get there. I
That
go straight to
makes
sleep.
sense because sometimes I have a glass of wine and then I get sleepy. So they stuff cheap.
That's from
The
our
quality,
research.
maybe.
Yeah, the quality.
The quality.
Yeah.
And when I say
I'm
cheap, I'm
finna
not
go
talking
off.
about price point. Like
Yeah,
I think
how it's made. How
I
it's
think
made.
the quality of
Yeah.
how it's made,
Distilled
the
and
process of how it's made. You know, like some things are not necessarily always the oak barrels. You can do like the stainless steel that some people do. So it just really depends on how their wine is being preserved.
Okay then.
Well,
We wanted to have Kayla in here for a solo because she is also an esthetician, y'all. My esthetician to be exact, which is why I had to have her come on here like, girl, come talk to the people about their beautiful skin. So, how long have you been an esthetician?
So I have been an esthetician for 5 years, but my business has been established for 7.
Okay.
So 5 years as
I just want to say, skin is flawless, dear.
Oh, thanks.
She
It
is a
wasn't
walking
always-
advertisement.
It was not always this. Trust me. It was acne on this side. Don't be shaking your head over to my husband. Like, yeah, it was. Acne on this side, my cheeks. Like, my breakout areas was the sides of my
Hormonal
face.
here,
Hormonal
right?
area, even down here to, like, my neck area would break out. And then, like, you know, my cheeks pretty much everywhere. But my heavy was my sides that broke out a lot. So for me, as a holistic esthetician and now as a student nutritionist, my biggest thing is focusing on the internal aspect. Not something that I wasn't, but in instead of school, we're just taught external, and just to treat what I'm in agreement to what the functional medicine space say are symptoms. You know, we say conditions, we say acne prone skin, all these different terminologies, but we're not being honest and saying, hey, this is really a symptom of a red flag of what you have going on. And with acne, heavily is inflammation. And gut health is number one. But also, just like, let's even go back to the foundation, minerals. So for me, I focus on barrier repair, and I also focus on addressing the oil inflammation in the body, but also to helping you heal at a cellular level. Because what I'm finding is a lot of us, we're like, oh, I drink water all the time. I drink water. And I'm just like, but it's not absorbing to your cells. And there's a reason for that, because one, your mineral probably imbalance of potassium. So we really want to, for me and my business, focus on getting back to the foundation, which are your minerals, because those are your building blocks. That's where things pretty much started. Magnesium's going to help you be calm. So that's going to calm your skin. It's going to calm your body. You're talking about copper and zinc. You can't really do one without the other when you're talking about addressing your pigmentation. So I really want to get back to a place of, yes, acne can be triggered by an array of things, but if we just focus and hone in on one particular thing, which is your minerals, and getting those balanced, then we can start actually building up. Because we keep saying, oh, this is common. Everyone has, imbalances in minerals, but it's like, just because it's common don't mean it's right.
Right.
True.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Girl, you better speak your
We've
word.
normalized the experience instead of changing our
So with you having acne, was that your inspiration of becoming an esthetician, or was it something else?
No, it was. So I got into the beauty industry when I was in college, and I started out with makeup. So I was a makeup artist for many, many years, and then I heavily switched into bridal makeup. So I just found that's what my heart, my passion, and joy was, to work with brides, be on their big special day. But when I was in college, I found myself using makeup to cover imperfections externally, but it was much deeper than that. Like I was very, in some aspects, I wouldn't say suicidal, but to the point where I would be so hard on myself, to the point where I would just, beat myself up mentally and verbally with my words. So for me, I would cover that. And then I also would cover it by acting out in devious and promiscuous behavior. So for me, I was just like, this is my way to mask it, makeup. And so my first person, and it's not her fault, but the first person I came across as a black creative was Jackie Ina.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, look at her makeup, and how she's doing this and that. And so she definitely inspired me to go forth in the makeup industry. But then I, in my own ways, end up utilizing it to mask and cover up what really I needed to address, which was first my mindset, my mental being, my state of well-being when it comes to my health, and then obviously addressing it with what was going on with my skin externally from the scarring from what I was dealing with internally. So yeah, that's how I got started, was in college.
Okay.
As an athlete, couldn't have a job, so I was like, I need to make some money, and I can do your makeup. You want your makeup done? I got you.
So what is the educational background and experience just developing that skill, just transitioning from makeup to becoming an esthetician?
So, I mean, the reason why I think I heavily got geared towards skin was because when you say, oh, I'm an esthetician, people immediately look at your skin, right? That's just, you're walking billboard, unfortunately. That's what it's going to be.
True.
So I knew, though I had makeup on, you could see the texture, you could see the bumps, you could see, to me, makeup enhances all of that.
Right. It does.
And you can hydrate, you can prep the skin as much as you want, but it's still going to show. And I knew people weren't saying it, but I could see, they're like, oh, she's an esthetician, right? Until I said, well, I'm a makeup artist. And then when you extinguish that, you're like, oh, okay, so you're not really into the skincare part, you're just doing the makeup, because your makeup is flawless. And then that's when the comments will come up, oh, your makeup is big, girl. But immediately they was like, your skin ain't really adding up to what you say you do. So for me, I recognized I gotta fix this. But also too, the other issue was you attract what you got going on too. So I was attracting people who had likewise same texture, same skin condition, dealing with acne and all these different things. And then they would show me pictures of what they want, and I had to be realistic and say, this is only going to be to a degree of what you're going to get. You're going to still have that texture. You're going to still have, the creases or whatever it is that's going on with your skin. Makeup can only cover so much and do so much. And so when I had clients who would leave my chair, because I was really good at makeup, and I could help you not even feel like the texture, or make it look like the texture was not there, because I would hydrate the skin very well. I would prep it and take a longer time than what most people would do when it came to prepping the skin. I spent most time prepping the skin, because I knew off the bat how to foundation match you, how to do the eyeshadow. I was good at that. But I was like, I really have to take time to prep your skin. So once I did that, they would get out of my chair and they'd be like, "Ooh, who am I?" And they would just turn into this whole different person. And at the time, I was for it. But then I realized I'm feeding them hiding what really they need to address. And so for me personally, I could no longer do it because I knew I was doing it.
Yeah.
And then when I would have returning clients who were my makeup clients who were consistently booking me, and I would always see them get up and they would just turn into a different person. And I'm like, you're beautiful already. You just have, your skin is talking to you. Yeah. So I had a client, and I wasn't her normal makeup artist. She would book my mentor, Flawless Beauty by Nicole, and she was booked. And so we were talking, and she was like, I was telling her about my skin, and I actually broke down in that session. I'm like, you paying me, and you sitting here being a therapist, and I should be paying you. I should give you back your money. And she was like, you need to talk to Nicole. She's an esthetician. And I'm like, a Esther who? She's like, an esthetician. And so I was like, okay. And so then I did my research, and I saw how it's going to address the skin. You got waxing, you got lashes, all this stuff. I came home to my husband. I said, it's solidified. I'm definitely not going back to law. Like, I'm not going towards law school or nothing. I'm full-fledged in the beauty industry. And he was like, what do you mean? I'm like, I need to go back to aesthetic school. He's like, you just graduated. Like, what you mean you just graduated college? I'm like, I got to go back to school. So I reached out to her, and we spoke, we met, and she just inspired me and helped me along the way through that journey of going to aesthetic school. And then graduated, and then, yeah.
So you was originally going to school for law.
I was going to say, well,
Yeah.
girl.
Talk about talented.
So I went to school for criminal
Believe
justice with a
180.
focus on I had minor in psychology and a little bit of social work, and I ended up dropping those courses, but you still have the prerequisites and stuff underneath your belt. And then my goal was to go to law school. I wanted to really focus on rehabilitation with inmates. And so I had internships at the U.S. Pretrial Probation Office, U.S. Attorney's Office, U.S. Marshals, and I was based in Hammond, Indiana for my internship. And I think for me, I promote people doing internships super early if they can. You can go in undecided, but do internships and things that you may think you're going to go to, because that way it can help narrow it down. I waited to my junior year to do an internship. And it was my junior year when I realized I like this, but I don't love it. And with my internship, I would go home crying all the time. And my dad was like, you got to leave what you see and what you experience there. And I just couldn't do it. You know what I mean? Particularly because my heart was in rehabilitation. And then you have a lot of people who are in that field who don't care about rehabilitation.
Absolutely.
They've already spoken that you're going to come back, we're going to see you again, and then they put no resources out there for you. And so I just was like, I don't know if I can do this. And I just knew I was doing makeup already. I knew I loved the beauty industry. I loved that. Like I get so excited talking about that. So I was like, you know what? We were engaged, and I was like, I told my mom, and she was like, well, you know, I'm not saying he married because you're going to be a lawyer, but he needs to know these things. I'm like, he's going to be cool with whatever I decide. And so I told him, and he was like, I'm rocking with whatever way you go. We just got to have a plan. And so my husband was on board, or at the time, fiance was on board. And that was all she wrote. So the law background comes in handy when it comes to contractual agreements and all that stuff. But that was not my passion.
just talented. Just talented. That's beautiful.
Fair enough.
So anything specifically in the skincare industry that you feel closely tied to when it comes to the nutritional health and kind of getting, like you said, to the root of things?
Yeah.
Is there anything specific that you feel drawn to in that?
It's definitely going to be acne, but when we're talking about acne, it's really looking internally when we're dealing with the inflammation in your gut health. Oftentimes in the nutritional space or functional medicine space or even integrative space, these are all new, not, I won't say new, but more common terms we'll hear in the nutrition space. We talk about this gut being almost acting like your first brain. Because if this is so clogged with a lot of different mucus and inflammation, how do you think you're going to make logical decisions if this isn't cleared, you know? So for me, acne is my core niche and draw. But I had to realize acne is a symptom of much deeper issues, which is your gut imbalance. It's the inflammation your body's experiencing. And I keep going back to rebalancing those minerals, because it's super important to know what mineral imbalances or deficiencies do I have, because this is my foundational piece to help me in my healing process. So you can do as much. I say to my clients, like maybe Shanika recalls, but I say the treatments and the products should be finishing touches to what you should be already doing internally. You won't hear many estheticians say that, because we're taught that do this topical treatment, chemical peel, do Botox, do this product, you know, I'm not sending my hyaluronic acid. All these are great tools, but they're not going to give you the longevity that you need on a cellular level of healing. And so for me personally, just like I didn't like my clients, I was giving them a service. I loved the makeup, but I didn't like who I was fueling them to think they had to be because they had on makeup. I don't want to be the same way with my clients when it comes to the skincare industry by selling you all these products that I know you're going to turn back around and be right back in my chair or somebody else's chair. Hopefully not as bad as when you came in, but we're still not breaking cycles. And so for me, I'm a cycle breaker. I think as a child of the Most High, He's called us to break cycles, not to break at least bad cycles, at least for sure. And I've now coined myself as the Acne Detective Terminator because I am the new ADT skincare system.
I love that.
Right. So if you need ADT, not the security system, but the skincare system, that's me.
That's cute. That's cute. You made me forget what I was about to say. I was like, okay. I was like, that's catchy.
Just to get a little interview going on.
Better put it on the shirt.
Right. I gotta check so I don't get sued by ADT though. Now I
gotta
gotta make
sure.
sure.
Hold on, pause.
Hold on,
breaks.
wait. I gotta make sure.
Her.
I don't know if they got that on trademark.
So about that, where was I going? See, I forgot. I lost it again. No, because you're talking about a lot of medical health too. So is there, would you say, is there collaboration with like their medical history? Is there conversations about what they're discussing with their doctors, things like that, nutritionists?
And this is, some of this is all still new and me rebranding and revamping myself. But prior to me going to the nutrition route, I worked with a naturopath, and my good friend Brianna, she's a naturopathic doctor. So if anyone needed help in the extent that was outside of my scope, I would say, hey, I can refer you to so-and-so. And then my brother, my oldest brother, who inspired me to go back to nutrition school, he's a nutritionist. So at the time I was partnering him with them because I was only focusing on the external part. I knew bits of internal because we talk about hydration, but I'm thinking to myself, a client keeps telling me they drink nothing but water, and now if that's all they're drinking, literally, not no 32 ounces, and that's all you have for the day.
Right.
But I mean, you're really drinking water, and you're still dealing with barrier condition that is, conducive to the point where you can't take a certain product, or your skin is still dry and dehydrated. I'm like, it's not absorbing, and why is that? And that's when I'm like, okay, what mineral, when it's balanced, helps this particular water, coconut water, to absorb? And you do need to pair water, not just drinking it by itself because it's a flusher, but you need to pair it with something in order for it to absorb. So we're talking about like your potassium. So eating your bananas, or I can't stand bananas, so I put them in smoothies.
I was gonna say I can't stand bananas. You got something else other because I was like, I can't stand bananas.
I gotta put it in my smoothie. You got your butters, so like your almond butters, your sunflower butter. Obviously you have regular peanut butter, like when we think about Jiffy. But if you're somebody already struggling with a gut problem, that wouldn't be the best route to go because it may trigger already of inflammation that you got currently going on in the body. So I do partner, like if it's something super outside of my scope, then I will reach out to like the people that I know who are in the medical field. Like I said, my friend Brianna's a naturopathic doctor. My husband's aunt is in the medical field, so she's a physician assistant. So she was telling me about all the these different functional labs and whatnot. And at the time, I was like, oh, I really need that because I'm tired of guessing what's going on with my clients. Like we really need to test what's going on.
And I was gonna say, like, is there specific foods that increase inflammation, or is a lot of it like allergen based or specifically based?
No, so they have like food sensitivity functional lab tests out there. So when you're talking about when someone's breaking out, you're saying, like I said, there can be an array of triggers, but I feel like when you say that, people get overwhelmed immediately because they're like, well, it's a lot. Like, what could be doing it? So my biggest thing is if I know that you are experiencing inflammation, and I know that ultimately starting your gut, my first thing as I start a tip is you need to have some room temp lemon water in the morning and adding in some Celtic sea salt. That's going to give you your minerals, but that's also going to help with your metabolism and just getting your body ready to even start to digest or intake any food. If you can add the Celtic sea salt, if you don't have high blood pressure, then do so. If you have high blood pressure, obviously consult with your doctor, or just skip that part because lemon water is, we talk about alkalinity and all that stuff is definitely going to help with just, like I said, getting your overall gut and metabolism ready to receive what you may be putting in eventually. And then after you do that, I recommend that you go in, if you at some point the other day you have some dandelion root tea. Dandelion is really good for flushing, making you go to the bathroom, because really people who are struggling with this symptom of acne, they are low in fiber. They don't have proper bowel movements to the point where I'm like, some people are saying they only have a bowel movement once a week. And I'm just like, but you come in and you're expecting your skin to be clear. All it is just, if we're being honest, poop on your body just coming through. It's gonna come one way or another. I always say you're not a pig, so you're not gonna ingest and just hold it in. Your body has pores, so it's going to come through those pores in your body, whether it's your chest, your back, your butt. It's got to come through. And I know
we laugh about that, but that used to be me. Like I actually did experience like a lot of acne, and I could tell a lot of that was coming from my gut health. And I had a hydrotherapy to like kind of reset my system, and was like, okay, I'm gonna change my nutrition, do all of that, and try to get the water flowing, get it going. And I did notice a lot of difference in my skin after that.
I think we was in the kitchen, we was talking about too the wine. I was like, when you're at a space where you know right now you have to cut something out just so that you can heal properly. I'm not saying you can't have these things. I'm not saying you can't have chocolate. I'm not saying you can't have cheese. But your body needs to be at a state to be able to receive that. So when it needs to clear it out, it can do so and pass through the system properly.
Yeah. That made a difference too with the alcohol too on how it metabolizes in your body.
It turns to sugar.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know if you've seen my recent email, but I sent out about sugar. Yeah, it's okay. She don't want to see it.
She's like, I ain't checking yet. She like,
she don't want to see it.
Because she always sending something. And then it's like, okay, then I can't do that.
No,
but now it'd be good, though. It'd be good. It'd be good. It's not overwhelming for me. I'd be like, okay, just map it out so that I can know how to follow it.
That's my biggest thing. I want to help acne sufferers who are overwhelmed and feeling like I don't know what to do. I did everything. But even when I try certain steps, I like, you know, you so overwhelmed, you can't even make the first step because you're just all in your head, or you feel like this ain't gonna work. Or you're already defeating yourself. So my job as your acne detective terminator is to help you not feel overwhelmed, but still being like real with you and saying, if you don't do these things, we're gonna still be in the same pattern. So how bad do you want it? You know, and the thing is, you can enjoy and have the fun when that time comes, but right now we just gotta clean up what we gotta clean up. And then slowly introduce these things back in.
Do you have difficult clients, those that, you know, just resist the advice and structure that you try to get?
I won't say difficult. I would say challenging clients, because the thing is, you're still, if you tell a person don't do something, naturally in our innate nature, we gonna want to do it. So I try not to say don't do. I'll say limit. I'll say, you know, try this. But I wouldn't say necessarily difficult, because usually those people weed themselves out, because I think based on how I present myself, people who know they're not willing to do the work, they kind of weed themselves out. And then too, I pray, I say, Father, give me the people I'm supposed to work with. And those who are not for me, we may cross paths, but they can't stay. And that's for their benefit and also for my benefit. So I've never ever like had a person that was so difficult to the point where I was like, you got to get off the program. I can't work with you. And I hope I never do. But if I do, I hope that it's done in a manner, in a way where it's like we could both be amicable and say, I have tried to tell you this, you won't do these things, or I've tried to give you other alternatives. I know, again, I took psychology, so I know how the mind works too. When you tell somebody not to do something, immediately they're going to want to do it. And so for me, I've just had challenging clients and challenging cases where that's what's led me to the point of saying, you know what, I'm tired of guessing. I need to start testing. And so that's when I was like, I'm going into the nutritional route. I will soon be offering what's called an HTMA test, which is a hair tracement analysis. She's been a beta model in that program process, and we found out some stuff. We found out some stuff that we needed to find out, because it gave me, as a practitioner of helping people, sometimes you can feel defeated because you're just like, man, like, I gotta make money from my job, but I don't like to feel like I'm just taking people money and they're not getting anything from this. So I need to figure out how to better help them so that I feel like I've done my job, and they feel like the what they sought me for has been achieved.
They got their service.
Yeah.
I am her most difficult client in a good way.
You looked at me when I asked the question. You was like, "She gonna talk about me?"
I don't care.
No, she's not. But when you say
not difficult in a bad way,
it's somebody that's not doing it.
Right.
She's willing to do the work.
Because you mentioned the program, so is it specific? Like, I'm sure each client it's specific, but do you have specific programs that people can choose from?
So I have an acne relief and wellness program. Everybody's gonna come in with the basic stuff. The same. To me, when you have, like, you can customize things. Okay. Meaning that each individual person is going to have their own level of customization, but as a whole, somebody coming with acne, I immediately know they're struggling with gut health, they're struggling with inflammation, they're struggling with a barrier externally that needs to be addressed. So I'm going to focus on balancing your barrier, repairing that, focus on the oil inflammation, as well as ultimately what's going on internally. So those two are out external, but then what's internally I have to focus on too. So I like this acronym. It's called DRESS. And that's used in a functional space as well, functional medicine. It stands for diet, rest, exercise, stress reduction, supplements. I love that order, because immediately I find people who don't want to go the conventional way, they immediately jump into the holistic way, but they pop in all these supplements. And it's like, no, your food should be first what you're doing. Supplements are meant to fill gaps. They're not meant to take over and just be fueling what you need to be getting from food. I mean, we eat more than anything. We eat and drink more than we do anything else. We're always putting something in our mouth or drinking something. So I like that because it gives me the proper roadmap to know if there's nothing that I can do. I won't say there's nothing. There's not a lot I can do topically if you don't first address internally what's going on with your body. Like, I have to first get to the root of that.
Yeah.
Like, we need to get to that root cause. And that may be several root causes, but we need to first do the work to find out what that is.
So you mentioned gut health, but how does hormonal health play a role in that? So like women with PCOS and other things that might cause hormonal imbalance.
So that's why I said test and don't guess.
Okay.
Because even with the hormonal imbalances, like for me, I am still considered postpartum. My daughter's about to be 2 years old. So when I do or was having breakouts, right, I had to keep in mind that during my pregnancy with her, my skin was flawless. It was the best that I had ever seen my skin. And with my daughter, likewise, it was the best. My son, he tore me up. I mean, he did me bogus. Neck was dark. I mean, just crazy, right? So I had to realize with hormonal health, it's all about what I'm fueling my body with, not just for myself, but also for that growing fetus inside of me. So even if you're not pregnant, right, but in your case, like, you know, when you're trying to conceive, it's so important what you're fueling your body because all that stuff connects to what is growing inside of you, which is soon, hopefully, a baby. But when we're talking about even hormonal health for women who are not wanting or struggling with pregnancy or talking about pregnancy, but they keep getting like lower jawline area, again, we're looking back at gut. We're looking back at your gut. I can't negate what's going on with your gut health. Even if I've had clients say, I'm eating like, and I can agree, they're eating everything right. They're doing everything right. So that's when I'm okay. Something is deficient in your minerals that we need to check, and we need to figure out what exactly that is. Is it calcium? Is it the magnesium? Is it like I said, the zinc or the copper? Is it potassium? We need to look at those things so that I can stop giving you all, like I'm saying, all this stuff. We can figure out what the levels are, and then we can go from there. But even with PCOS, I mean, that's when for me I will outsource as well with like the naturopath Dr. Brianna, because that's her focus when it comes to PCOS. And so when it comes to that internal stuff, I don't know it all, but I can say, hey, I can give you this resource to this person. Me and her can work together if you give me permission to be able to share your intake forms and what we're talking about. But to me, a lot of things go back to your gut, and it goes back to as well with sometimes what you're using, but it's going to be internal, because whatever you're saying external is started internally. You're just now seeing it all of a sudden.
Gotcha. Yeah. What would you say are like your 5 tips of like should do skincare routine?
So you're talking about like regimen wise? Okay, so we can talk about the external. Yeah, they're like, stop with all that internal stuff. No.
Because you like you said, you gonna tell people to eat right, but guess what y'all gonna do? Y'all not gonna listen. Y'all not gonna listen. Well, we gonna preach it again, you know.
The ones who's supposed to find whatever you do, will find you, because they're like, I'm tired. I'm like, people get to that point like, I'm just tired. I'm tired. But skincare, definitely you want to find you a good cleanser. Though cleanser doesn't stay on long, you want to find a good cleanser, because that's your foundational piece when it comes to making sure the skin is prepped to be able to receive your toner, if you're going to use that, your serums and so forth. So
do you have any recommendations with that as far as types?
What do you mean? Like what kind of cleanser brands?
So like,
or
like, you know, people have like these fads and stuff like black charcoal or using turmeric or using like, are there specific like facial cleaners that have different
I'm not opposed to if you want to go the we'll say the natural route, that's fine. You just have to make sure that it's formulated right, because you can find that people who have used turmeric, they burnt their skin. And so if it's not formulated right, or if you are overusing something, let's say you already have dehydrated dry skin, but you want to focus on brightening the pigmentation, and you go just use a straight turmeric or kojic acid, those things are going to be too strong for the state of what the barrier is saying, because it's already dry and dehydrated, and that's going to also potentially dry you out. In most cases it does. And then when your hands are your face is dry, I always get the analogy, when my hands are dry in the winter, I always get hyperpigmentation in this area, like badly. So because I'm washing my hands a lot, my barrier is stripped from the natural oils and moisture that it needs. So I have to make sure I follow with a really good humectant heavy moisturizer to lock in the hydration as well, when I'm washing my hands as well from cleansing it. But also water still can hydrate you. So when talking about the skin, you don't want to use something that's already, when the state is dry and dehydrated, you don't want to use strong,
it's gonna strip it even more.
Astringent product is going to strip the skin from that oil and that oil that's lacking. So turmeric cleansers that have turmeric in it are great. Cleansers that have kojic, niacinamide, mandelic acid, those are good. But if the barrier is not in a state to receive that, then you don't want to apply that on your skin. Okay. Yeah. But you want to do your cleansers. You want to do your, like we have, my husband's opened up, we have at our skincare line, the Body Balance, we have a sea moss cleanser, and that has in there sea moss and white willow bark. White willow bark is good for when you're talking about killing like bacteria on the skin, but it's not too overly strong when it comes to killing the bacteria of drying you out. But then, like I said, you can use toner to follow it with because you want to hydrate in some cases, because when you cleanse the skin, you're also changing your pH balance. So you want to manage and bring your pH balance back to its normal state. And you can get into all the serums and stuff, but the basics is cleanse, tone, moisturize, and SPF. And I know this is like a heavy topic, and I'm actually being challenged in my career when it comes to SPF, because I know there's foods that have sunscreen protecting ingredients in them. Obviously, you need to eat a lot of those things, but I'm not saying so if you're using a retinol, absolutely put on SPF, because you're going to negatively affect your skin when it comes to that, because retinol is very strong, and your sun's almost in a sense your skin's going to be negatively attracted to the sun to where it can cause more. You're trying to get rid of pigmentation, you're going to cause more pigmentation. Gotcha. So you definitely, if you're using advanced active ingredients like a retinol or hydroquinone, different triazole inhibitors, you definitely want to put on an SPF. But there's times too where I'm hearing people's arguments. I was gonna say, what
are the arguments and what are you hearing?
I'm just
what
like,
are the conversations?
I can't really deny that. So of course, one argument is like, well, our ancestors back then wasn't doing all that stuff, and I get that, but they were using things like red clay. If you go to places in Kenya, they use red clay to cover. And as a person who's traveled back and forth to Africa, I've seen these things for myself. They'll use that as a form to protect their skin, but it does not have all these carcinogens that many SPFs currently have in our SPFs that do contribute to cancers. So I'm a total agreement when people are talking about SPF, but they're lacking sharing the proper information about. You do want to avoid SPFs that are carcinogen based. So people are talking about your mineral SPFs, but then when we're talking about people of color, a lot of the mineral SPFs leave you with a white cast, or you rub it on and it start like beating up and all those different things. So
there are some.
I can't like right now as I feel like I would do a disservice to say don't put on SPF, but also too I'm hearing the arguments within the nutritional space. And also, like, the holistic aesthetic space where people are saying you have other things out there that can act as SPF without you necessarily having to put on literally like a SPF sunscreen lotion.
Definitely have to research that, because I did not know there was foods that naturally did that.
I have a whole, I'm doing ebooks. I'm working on an ebook, so when I'm finished, I'll share that with you as far as foods that have like SPF benefits in them if you're eating them, and they can act as SPF. Yeah.
Okay. You mentioned, and I don't know if you have any more questions, but you mentioned.
I had a whole list of questions. You just firing up. You fast. I'll let you have it. You are fast. They come into mine, baby. Ask your questions. I can wait. I'm like, the people gonna probably think I ain't even on it. The way she going. Golly. Nah, you good. Go ahead. You asking good questions based off what she's saying. I'm fed.
You had mentioned your mental health journey a little bit into that, and the kind of like kicking off on that. So just, us being social workers, how does that play a role in the journey of your skincare?
It's absolutely important. Yeah. When you're dealing with like when I'm talking to people, I always now ask them, I say, mentally, what state are you at to do this work? And I'll say on a scale of 1 to 10. Most times they'll say, I'm at a 7, right? But I'm a person who listens. So in that midst of that consultation, and you're telling me, you don't want to do this, or you don't do that, are you still really at a 7? Because I'm like, in this program, when you get in here, you're going to have to do these things. So what's going to change your mind just because you're working with me that you're going to actually do these things? Some people say, because I'm investing all this money. So but I'm like, yeah, you can do that. You spend your
money on
right, but you still won't do it. Yeah. What's going to fuel you to have the discipline and the consistency that you need? So for me, I think it's very important of how I vet. Like when people come to me, I'm sure they vetted me out. I'm sure they checked to see my receipts and reached out to people or looked to see if I actually yield the results. But just as you're vetting me, I'm vetting you, because I know too. I don't want my joy and my peace taken from what I enjoy doing. So I need to make sure who I work with, I'm compatible with too. So I think it's very important. We've talked too about the mental health, and I asked her questions like, hey, without saying the client's name, but I also have a client dealing with so-and-so, how if I'm supposed to guide them, because when we take, like, I have to renew my CEU hours this month for my license. We have to take a domestic violence course now.
Oh wow!
We have to take a course as
a lot of industries are having
to
take
you have people coming in talking about their. I mean, literally, when you come, people lay out their whole business.
Yep, a lot of service-based that like
I love that.
Barbershops, hairstylists, all of them, a lot of them have to take that course now. Because like you said, when people come in, they are laying out their whole life because they see you as like their person, right? And I can talk to you because we spending so much time together, so you build that relationship.
I did not know that. I love
and that's why you, as a professional, you have to make sure that you're mentally stable.
Yeah.
Because if you're not, you'll get burnt out, but you'll also get to a place of where, at least for, I know my area, I am an intercessor, so I love praying. I love interceding on the behalf or with people too. But the thing is, sometimes we can take on the burden or weight of somebody else. And the Father said to me, "You're not the Holy Spirit, so I need you to let that go. If I've given it to you to pray for it, you have to let it go." And so when I have people come on my table who are struggling with things that I know there's nothing I can do. Like, it's nothing I can do. And I know that that stress is playing a factor into why their skin is looking the way it's looking or why we keep going in this cycle. I have to go in and intercede on their behalf if I'm led to do so, but then I have to let it go. Yeah. So that's even for me when it talks about the mental stuff. I got to make sure that I'm mentally in a right space as well to help others.
I like how you mentioned, like, you know, people mentally, the whole stress, but even just me working with you, and you'll ask me, like, okay, are you stressed? And I'm like, girl, I'm not stressed at all. And then it's like, but your body is stressed. Right. And I'm like, what you mean? Like,
that's where her mineral level
we good. And then, I did that test. You can tell them about the results. I don't care.
So basically, she was she already knew, she said she was probably low in magnesium. Many of us are low in magnesium.
Yeah.
Yes, I can agree. Many people it's common for many people to be imbalanced in their minerals. The thing is, though, you don't want to be so depleted. Like when you talk about people with low iron and they're so anemic now to the point where they're eating so much ice, they're cold all the time. That's not healthy. So with Shaniqua here, her magnesium was very low. So obviously that's going to calm skin, calm body. If that's not happening, then we're going to have the irritability. Like when I asked her, I said, are you stressed? And she said, no. When I got the test results back, I said, girl, please.
Right.
Your body.
It's all in your body.
Your body is harboring so much stress.
I'm like, where? What you talking about?
And she gonna be like that nerve. She gonna be like that nerve.
I was like, what? You making that up? She thought it was well according to these numbers. I'm like, oh. Well.
And so that plays a heavy role when it comes to even healing you on an internal or cellular level. Because again, we can get the skin clear, but I don't want, like, it's okay to have it ain't okay to have no breakouts if you don't have to have, but we know that's going to happen, right? We don't want it, but it's going to happen. But when it does, though, you want the body to immediately heal and go into repair mode. But if it's depleted of certain minerals like your magnesium, your copper, your zinc, all these different things to heal and to address that, it's slowing the process, and then you're constantly in this cycle. Even when we talk about people say they have hormonal breakouts, I'm really focusing on that area. I'm focusing on that area. I won't speak a lot about it because I'm still ignorant in certain areas or not as knowledgeable. But to me, I'm just like, we be saying that like that's supposed to be okay.
That was gonna be one of my follow-up questions. I was like, is there anything I can do?
And most of us will say we're eating horribly before our period comes, right? Yeah. We're eating all the sweets and the sugars and the processed foods, all this stuff. But we're not prepping. Everything is about preparation. I'm not saying you can't have these things, but when you know that cycle's about to come, you should be immediately preparing your body to not experience any cramps. I did it recently. I had no cramps. No cramps. I was making sure I was eating whole foods, right? I still wanted sugar so bad, but I got apples that got the sugar that I needed. My sister-in-law made actually for me, it was beets, apples, and carrots, and the apple made the beet, because beet could be kind of earthy, Carrots can be earthy, but they're not as sweet. That apple, I was like, ooh, this is good. I was just throwing them back. It was so good. Yeah. So I just made sure I prepped my body.
I was just thinking in my head, go ahead.
Yeah, I prepped my body to be able to enjoy what I'm used to having, but also my mindset was different too. I told myself, I don't want to keep going through having, cramps. My husband talked about the word overstimulated. I know I may be overstimulated to a degree because we have 3 kids, but I can control how I respond to them when I'm on my cycle. It's important. I mean, I really can't stress how important it is to know, if you can, where your levels are for your minerals, because they are literally the foundational pieces to your healing.
Now, the test that we did, it was like a hair test. This was hilarious. She had to cut my hair. And I was like, girl, just cut it, because I'm finna cut these locks off. So go ahead. She's like, what the heck? I was like, just cut all you need. So is that test now, which one, because I know you got several programs that you offer, or packages and services that you offer. Which part does that fall under?
So that falls within all of my programs. Like moving forward, everybody
Okay.
that I work with, I want them to do a hair test if allowed. Like in your case, if your hair was short and you came to me, now you can pull from like your underarms or pubic area, but the readings are going to be much more different because this hair grows freely. Like it just grows, and it grows very fast than our hair on our scalp. But I want all clients moving forward, no matter what program, even if you may not work with me for your skin. Like I have, when I did this August special of free consultation, that's people who are like, I've gotten my skin to a place where I'm happy with it. I just want to break the cycle of it when it's not so happy with, or I'm not happy with it. So can I do the hair test that you offer so I can know what I'm, imbalanced or deficient in? And I think that's great to offer that as just a standalone too. But all programs moving forward will be in there. The HTMA test, be it as an add-on, or if you book the most, like what I call my premium glow up package, that's included in the rate of that package. But the Acne Relief and Wellness program has it. I have a hyperpigmentation and corrective program. It's included in there because, like I said, zinc and copper paired together, it helps to address pigmentation and the healing process of when you are experiencing hyperpigmentation.
Gotcha. Copper, what food? I'm sorry, because I didn't know that either. I was like, what foods have copper or?
Girl, you put me on the spot with that one. Brain fart immediately.
No, you can pause on that. I'm gonna Google it.
No, I do have a my husband got my phone. I can pull up. That's okay. I have an ebook that I sent out to pretty much all clients right now who work with me. And in that ebook, what I did was I broke down, and we could put like an insert in the video maybe and show that if that's okay with you guys. But I did like a grocery list basically.
Oh yeah.
And I put here fine lines, and I connected fine lines with retinol. So I added in here like foods like sweet potatoes, your carrots. Those different things are going to help when you're eating those things to address what you want to address, like the fine lines, but also in conjunction with pairing it with retinol if you're able to use a retinol. So when you ask about like copper, we're talking about like even like collagen, your breakouts. I have that information in this ebook that I wrote and how those are paired together. So like the biggest thing to just navigate with the copper, because I'm like, damn, I'm drawing a real blank right now. But let's say collagen right now, if we can. Everybody, we're maturing women, right? Yeah. We're getting a little older, which I think is great. I embrace aging gracefully. But collagen is a huge topic right now, and everybody's like, oh, just collagen products, like topically. And I'm like, that's not enough. And even then, I think a little bit of it's marketing, because realistically, that's really hard to really absorb on a cellular level. So you got collagen powders, yes, but even in here, I'm sharing with you, you have bone broth. If you are someone who consumes like meat, you can do bone broth. I said here too, pumpkin seeds, which are my favorite. Like if you add pumpkin seeds onto like your yogurt and some cranberries, it's just, and your granola. I would say, for me personally, I do gluten free. I'm really focusing on like getting away from gluten, because I feel like that heavily contributes to a lot of the inflammation we experience. Gotcha. You have a lot of people who are gluten intolerant. So pumpkin seeds. You have the skin on the salmon. Many people take the skin off the salmon, but that has so many good benefits when you're talking about collagen, and so many nutrients as well for your body.
Okay.
Yeah, you just gotta know how to cook the skin, because I know he's kind of slimy and all this stuff, but you grill it right.
I love the skin.
I was gonna say when I cook it hard, when
it got a little crisp.
But the copper, I gotta get back to you on that question.
Because I didn't realize. I'm like, I take zinc supplement, which I know I need to eat.
So I have like a copper right now, because my zinc and copper was super low, and so yes, I want to eat foods that are conjunction with that. But you know what, the reason why I think that's a good question, because I wasn't sure. I'm like, copper, like what foods can I get from that? So what I did was I did get the supplement that had the zinc and it has copper together.
Yeah. Okay, because I take a zinc supplement.
Because when you think about copper too, or just in general, people get into like, oh, the most soil is depleted of the minerals, because we know where we currently reside, they're just trying to do everything quick and fast, so they're not feeding and fueling the soil what it needs as well. So it's the food that I'm telling you to eat can also be depleted for minerals. Right. And that's what I'm saying. Minerals, when we talk about it, is the basic foundation of blocks. When y'all remember during COVID, everybody was, I don't know if you guys remember, what was everybody trying to get during COVID?
Produce.
What was they was like, it got 92 minerals in it. What was it? Sea moss.
Oh,
Sea moss. I got the true sea moss. Everybody wanted it because it had all the basic, at least not all, but majority of the minerals that we needed to help us be able to fight off COVID. And certain diseases. Just, it just, to me, I'm just like, I myself was arguing back and forth like, minerals, okay, whatever. But you can't really get away from it, because your food that you're growing, the earth needs to have those minerals to produce into the food, to say, we can say salmon is going to provide you with collagen. And now they're going to farm that too. But I have to get back to you guys about what food per se is going to give you the copper, or is it, because from what I do understand is that to get copper, it's always usually paired with the zinc. Even on the minerals test, but I don't know if you've looked at it in a while, but it had in there, had your zinc and copper ratios together. Oh, you got some foods that got the copper in it? Okay. Thanks. Look at that. Help me. I'm going to edit.
I'm even thinking of my labs. I'm like, I know that they measure for magnesium, but I can't even remember if they measure for copper.
So, and this is why I wouldn't know these things, because I don't eat liver. So you have high copper
I haven't
foods
had
like
liver
liver.
in so long.
I don't eat liver. I wouldn't even know that. You
it
have
on
oysters.
Thanksgiving.
I don't eat oysters, so I wouldn't have
Don't have oysters that
I don't
often.
eat that.
Once a year.
Salmon. Salmon has copper in it.
Okay.
It's a high copper food. And I was thinking about
Fishy things.
I don't know why I didn't think salmon had copper in it. Dark chocolate has copper in there, they're saying. Kale, I do love me some kale.
Oh, yeah.
Potatoes have copper in there. Peanuts, cashews. So,
your
basic stuff.
Because
even I'm finding, too, certain things, this may have the copper in it, but it also has in there benefits for you if it was for magnesium. So, some things cross, in a sense, cross with each other. But, yeah, those are high copper foods. But the ones, your liver, oysters, I don't eat that. So, I wouldn't have even known that.
Dang, you don't eat oysters?
I can't no more either. Shoot.
Yeah.
I developed an
to y'all.
allergy at 36 years old of shellfish.
See, like, to develop an allergy, I'm just like, there gotta be something.
I'm stubborn. I'm gonna keep eating it.
She is, because she did it the last time. Ate that dang on shrimp.
No, and those are bottom feeders.
I don't even like shrimp like that. It wouldn't work.
No.
What are some other, because I know you said a few, but what are some other, you can highlight it again, common myths or misconception that people have when it comes to, okay.
She was ready for this question.
I got a list.
And it's in that
I
ebook.
got a list.
Okay. So the first one, many estheticians, even myself, was very guilty of this. Like, oh, you're not consuming enough water. Drink your water, right?
And your doctor always say, drink
you'll
more
be
water.
hydrated. Well, without minerals, water won't stay where it needs to. Add electrolytes, what you were saying, you're doing electrolyte pals, and I was like, when you gave me your food diary, I always want to start with giving you praise of what you are doing. Because ultimately, I want you to feel encouraged. I want you to know, like, I can keep doing this. I'm doing it right. But you want to add electrolytes and potassium-rich foods. Right? So, that's a myth that people, like, even myself, like I said, I was included. I'd be like, oh, you got to have a lot of water. You got to drink enough water. Water. And it's like, well, water just go in and it's flushing you, too.
Right.
You got to be able to absorb it, right? So that was my ignorance. Topicals fix everything. That's a myth.
Yeah, no.
Right.
No.
They're along with the
Clearly,
pharmacy. To me, with the
down.
pharmacy agency. To me, they're with the farm of
Big
just,
Pharma.
Yeah, they're
And
with
so
Big Pharma.
again, that it's a tool.
Yeah.
But it's not going to fix everything. And I
Yeah.
feel like when people come to me, that's immediately when I'm even asking, like, what are you using, right? And they'll talk to me about, well, this product it just didn't do this, and I'm thinking to myself, that product was the marketing was great. It was absolutely great. But you look at the ingredients, it ain't got none of what it's saying in it. The niacinamide is the second to last ingredient.
Yeah, I did learn to start reading.
So if it's not the first 3 to 5 up there, but it's claiming for brightening
Alcohol,
or whatever it is
all
and
of
all
that.
that stuff, put it away. Because it's not, I'm even finding too, like, it's unfortunate. Most companies are supposed to, but you should always be able to look up a material safety data sheet of these companies to figure out how are they getting the product to be on the shelves like it is. Like, what's the percentage? They'll have on a bottle like the 2%, but I want to know the process that it took too. So you always should be able to look up, if possible, a MSDS. Which
There
is
is an app for that. I want to believe Roku or something like that, where you can look up products and see how clean
and then
they
this
are.
was talking about the copper.
Yeah.
Here it says copper is bad, strip it. Well, here, as we know, copper is essential. And balances. If we balance it with zinc, it's going to help with imbalances of pigmentation, which is why I kept saying that when we're talking about, like, a lot of my clients that I've had, they don't have the acne no more, but they're still having the scarring left from pigmentation. And so again, I want to know, like, what your zinc and your copper levels are like, because ultimately, if those are balanced, then we know if I'm giving you this topical product, yes, it's going to address it, but you won't be back here again dealing with the same issue, or at least you shouldn't be anymore. And then the last one that I looked up, it said detox equals extreme cleanses. And sometimes people think I gotta detox, I gotta do the nastiest one, but it's like, if you're already depleted or imbalanced as is, I mean, you're completely making it worse.
Yeah.
Absolutely worst. And so it said here, real detoxes are not going to strip you from the minerals, or it's not going to deplete you from your minerals. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. Yeah.
Okay. I had something you said and I lost it because I was so focused on what you were saying. But I'm going to my next question. Okay. How do you support clients in building confidence outside of skincare?
For me, I was taught in the beauty industry, like when we took business class, they say, oh, separate your faith from what you do. But I'm like, first of all, maybe if you're working for somebody else, you got to do that. But because I work for myself, I can't and I won't do that. And I don't believe the Father has told me to do that. So for me, I try to get to know my clients in regarding to where, like, what's their root. We're talking about spiritually, foundational wise. Because those when I find that you do have a foundation girded in the Father, who has created us and has given us, or us being made in His image, though you may be going through something, right? If I'm likewise, I'm supposed to lift you up when you're low, right? I can pour into you His word, where ultimately I can, encourage you in that aspect. But if I have clients who aren't, I'm respectful of that too. Because for me personally, do you ever see me walk around and say, you gotta go do this? No, I live it. I'm at the point now in my walk where you shouldn't even have to ask me, who do I serve? Now, if you did, as the word says, I better have an answer for the faith that I say who I believe in. But ultimately, my walk should show forth the fruit and abundance of what and who I believe in and who I trust in. So for me, my biggest thing is, like I said, my faith and encouraging them without necessarily having to use the Bible says here and so, like me just encouraging you in that saying that you are more than a conqueror. You are able to do all things exceedingly above all. So that's for me. But if it's somebody who's not necessarily walking that, or I'm respectful of where they may believe differently than me, I'm not going to stray away from that, but I'm going to still let them know and say, well, you told me per your belief in your faith that X, Y, and Z. I'm going to spit it back to them. Because we've had those conversations and our working together. I mean, we've had tons of conversations regarding certain things. So when I find a client is so hard on themselves or being negative or just totally just disconnected from their body, because I think that's what happens too when you're struggling with acne. There's like a dissociated disconnect that you have. Like, who is this body? Like, I just don't like this body. I don't like this person. And then you just say, this is ugly. That's ugly. Everything about you is just ugly. And so I have to help them be reminded, based on the conversations that we have privately, if it's likewise the same faith, we'll have a conversation. If it's different, then I'm very keen on knowing, like, when a person speaks to me, like if they were, I had a client, I guess she's spiritual, so she doesn't believe anything. So I said, so if you're spiritual, right, you ultimately know that it's important that the words that we speak have power. Now, I know for me personally, I know I'm thinking it's life and death in the tongue. I don't have to necessarily say that per se, because I already know where she stands, and for her, that would turn her off. Right. But I know she's big on energy. She's big on, me vibing and all that stuff. So I'm telling her, I said, you killing the vibe in the room, girl. Your words are so negative right now. And she was like, yeah, you right, sis. So for me personally, I knew I could meet her, right, with what she shared with me in the past about where she stands, but not diminishing wholeheartedly where I stand, because I won't do that.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, I like that answer, girl. You got some more questions over there?
I didn't even really do. I ain't gonna lie. Hold on, let me see.
I know she didn't read that part.
I didn't read none of these. Are you accepting new clients?
Yeah, that's
I'm gonna make sure we get to that one.
Yes, I am accepting new clients, definitely virtually.
Okay.
So within this actually Monday, I'm going to be announcing from me doing the past. I'm sorry if y'all missed it, but I had a free consultation August special. And that was for me to get to know who's following me, who's being referred to me. And a lot of people were virtual. So I will be launching my virtual acne relief and wellness program. It's a 12-week program. And not only is it just like, you get the home care products and you do your routine. No, you're going to go home with your own at-home kit of treatments, from enzymes to masks and even an at-home peel. Yes. So though it does have these products in there, it's still guided by me and with me. We meet collectively as a cohort, pretty much. So the cohort starts September 24th. And that first day is pretty much everyone who's joining up for that virtual program will be on a Zoom. We'll be getting acquainted about what's expected of the program. We do meet individually when it comes to like your nutritional information and one-on-one customizations. But when it comes to us doing the treatments, which are bi-weekly via Zoom, we will be together as a group for whoever signed up with that program.
I think it also builds a sense of community to have these conversations.
And know that you're not alone.
Without shame, especially about some of the things that you're experiencing.
And there's people who are experiencing or likewise going through some similar things that you're going going through. The other thing for the Acne Relief and Wellness Program in person, I'm accepting new clients as well. Or if you're not struggling necessarily with acne, but the left ramifications like hyperpigmentation, texture, scarring, I have programs for that too. And I'm at the point where I'm moving forward with programs because I find that when you do things individually, the person, they'll come and go, but if they are invested in a program,
people that support them in the mission,
they're going to stay and follow that through. Yeah.
Where do you see your 5-year plan?
At one point I used to say I wanted to hire people and all those different things. I'm not saying that's not there, but I know it's a lot of work because we're especially right now with this business and the skincare business, a lot. And so for me personally, I want to be able to be at a space where Be Unique Beauty is running and functioning whether Kayla touches somebody or not. And so that's why I am heavily focusing on virtual, because I think there's going to be a cutoff point where I'm saying, hey, I'm staying with my core group of clients that I have for in person, and if you want to work with me, you'll get the same benefits. It's just virtual because I'm sending you home with the same products that a person would do. I'm just not touching you physically, but I'm touching you through the way of me sharing words with you, telling you how to do it, because I want people to know when Kayla is long gone, we all have a time that we got to go. I want you to feel confident to know how to care for your skin. Like, you have to know how to care for your skin. You need to know and understand your skin. So I know ultimately I can reach more people virtually and not necessarily always touching somebody too. Yeah.
True. By the time this episode airs, her first cohort would have already been going on. So don't think it's going to be that late September, months away. So she's going to probably be on her second cohort. So just make sure y'all be on her website looking out for it.
And like, share, subscribe, what she said already.
Exactly.
So you can be on tune.
Check your phone. Make sure we ain't missed none of Dominique's questions while she was gone. Because she did have some questions.
She didn't mention while we was gone. She didn't mention.
Okay. So we probably already asked them out anyway. Any other tidbits you want to?
I think the last thing I will instill is that know that your skin health is just as important as your overall health when we're talking internally. So I'm gonna be a little transparent. So I recently went because my mom and my aunt, was really heavily like, you need to go get the genetic testing. So my mom and my aunt are now both 3-time. Well, my mom's 2-time cancer survivor. My aunt is now a 3-time cancer survivor.
Okay.
Both have gone through getting a double mastectomy. And so sometimes when you go the nutritional route, but then if you're somebody that goes the more conventional route too, it's a lack of balance. You got them, they always at each other. And I'm just like, I don't want to be like that. I think that they both have their space. What I am definitely against is Western, way of dieting and all that stuff. It's just not the best, and we see that when other parts of the world are saying these ingredients can't go in your food. Like you're feeding people gasoline. Why would you want to do that? But I do understand the importance of utilizing the tools that do exist to be able to help catch something. I'm leaning to say the word prevent, but I tested positive for the BRCA1 gene, which is a genetic mutation for breast cancer. So per my family lineage, many of the women have had former breast cancer and even ovarian cancer. So testing positive, I could immediately got sad and I'm about to get cancer and all this stuff, right? But I've already beat the odds in several ways because ultimately my grandmother, my mom, their environment was totally different when I'm talking about what they were feeding themselves, and also too maybe things that they were doing that they just didn't know. Me knowing that, I'm like, okay, what do I need to do? How do I be preventative and proactive? I would say that the tools like the mammograms and the MRIs, those are proactive tools, but they're not, to me, preventative. Right. They help you to be more proactive to hopefully catch something early if it did exist. Yeah. For me, the prevention is what am I eating? Living. What am I doing to myself? So when I did my test results for the hair treatment analysis, the aluminum level was super high. That's a heavy metal toxic that's just sitting in my body that is connected to carcinogens to form cancer. So when I went to that appointment, I said, well, what do you have in place? Not just the MRI, not just the mammogram smashing my breast, but what prevention do you guys have? And they didn't have anything. They didn't send me home. I send you home with tools as far as these are foods that you can consume.
Check back in a year.
Or this, they didn't send me home with that. They told me it's not till when you get it that ultimately you work with a dietitian. And I said, that's crazy to me. This should be happening. If you know that I'm at such high risk, why wouldn't you pair me now with a nutritionist? So they didn't know. At that time, I pretty much didn't. I told them myself. They said, are you a nutritionist or something? And I said, well, I'm an esthetician, and I'm also in school for nutrition. And the reason why I asked, because I was expecting to leave here with some type of ebook, PDF, telling me of things to potentially be mindful of for my deodorants that are high in aluminum that I was using. So now I'm, finding no aluminum deodorants. I know some people go to the stream like, you don't even need deodorant, girl. Just eat this and put this, I'm like, I ain't there yet. Okay, I ain't there yet. This is a journey.
I'm still applying 3-4 times a day.
But I'm definitely going to avoid the aluminum deodorants that, can affect your lips and stuff. My mom had her cancer. They found she had to have her lymph nodes removed here in her underarm area. So these things being removed, you need these things. Like, these are meant to be a part of your body. And I get it. When you're at that point trying to save your life, you do what you think is best for you. But at the same time, you weren't meant to be cutting off these things and removing these things. You were born with it for a reason. So I would leave is that it's important to be proactive when it comes to, just as it is your internal health, with your skin health. Imagine yourself with none of this skin, none of this flesh. And you just literally, when we see in school and you have the skeleton on the classroom, and you see the veins, the blood, imagine that's how you're walking out every day. And if you do that, you'll be more mindful to appreciate this covering that the Father has given us to protect the internal things that are very much so important.
Your skin is your biggest
organ. But as we say, the largest organ of the body, but we treat it so poorly. And we just do anything and everything with it. And I just think because we're just not taught. Like, I wasn't taught that in school. I mean, I was taught about, like, your health, but just not about the importance of the skin. And how what you put on it definitely needs to be considered.
Thoughtful.
What it could do in the long run of things. Yeah, so I'll leave you with that.
Okay, then. Tell the people where they can find you.
I can be found on Instagram, @BUnique_beauty. So that's BUNIQUE_beauty, BEAUTY. You can find my website, www.beuniquebeautyllc.com. And right now it's Instagram and Facebook. Instagram, my website, and then word of mouth. Trying to look at some of the social platforms, you just get busy and
I feel you.
Yeah. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Until I can hire somebody to do all that, that's where I'm at. But I love having communications with people too, as far as talking like what we're doing right here. So
that's good. Y'all better get y'all appointments in before she closed them books for them in persons. I'm just saying, it's definitely worth it. I'm a part of, what am I a part of?
The acne relief and wellness program.
We
transitioned into the wellness part. It was just really the acne relief program.
Okay.
I added in the wellness part because, like I said, I just was like, the topical treatments are great and everything, but we like cycle breakers and we get to the root.
My skin is a mystery.
We get to the root. Mystery.
I guess my body.
Right,
I was gonna say you look good. You look good.
It absolutely looks
Shout out
good.
to my makeup.
No,
what she just say? Texture and everything.
Texture,
like no,
everything.
you look good.
Just playing. Jeez,
Calm
calm
down.
down.
You about to get her. Look,
What she say? Words matter.
Yeah, it
Calm
does.
down.
And we're getting there.
We are.
You having this though right now.
I only took one little sip.
So she set it down.
And
the
I
whole
set
time.
it down.
She set it down the whole
Y'all
time.
ain't seen this glass this whole time. Anyways, y'all know what it is. Follow us on all social media platforms at Why Me Please Podcast. Share with y'all mama, sister, cousin, brother, uncle, and baby mama too. Just saying. And show us some love. Y'all know we're not the podcast for tea. So why me please?
Drink the food, live the legacy.
And don't forget, if you want our advice, send us an email to advice@whymepleasepodcast.com.